Hey guys, welcome to Inside the Writer's Office. This time, this is for real. Yes, we are actually doing this right now. And so, today we are talking about typewriters and how I use typewriters in my writing process and so forth. As you know, our cameras are going to be moving back and forth as I do. So if I tend to sit back, the camera will zoom out. If I sit forward, the camera will move as well. So it's pretty interesting. So let's get into it. We're talking about typewriters and how I use typewriters in my everyday process. And for the longest time, I would directly uh, type on the computer. And after a while, I thought, you know what? This isn't working. I don't like this process that I'm using. So I decided to take a step back and figure out what other techniques I could employ into my writing. And one of those things that I quickly discovered that I could use to my advantage was if I got a typewriter that uh, that would allow me to not so much be able to go back and work the line or fix that spelling mistake. Um, and whereas the computer allows me to go back and correct that spelling mistake, correct the grammar mistake, and really work that line, whether I like the line or don't like the line. Um, the computer allows me to do that. And that was one of the biggest downfalls that I had with using a computer to write a lot of my short stories. Now, granted, the computer is still used for writing short stories and whatnot, but um, as of late, we've been composing all of our stories or all of my stories directly on to a typewriter. The first typewriter that I ended up using for this was a Brother GX6750. In fact, I have two of them, and of course, I also do have a manual typewriter with ribbons and all that good stuff. Same with the Brother GX 6750. I also have ribbon to replace that. But today, while I was out and about at a thrift store, I came across a Sharp PA 3000 portable typewriter. And, I hummed and hawed at first, left the thrift store, thought about the purchase, and I kind of did that kind of self-check thing. Yes, no, yes, no. Could this be beneficial in the writing process? And I thought, yes, yes, it could. So with that, I went back, got the typewriter, and promptly, I checked, made sure it worked, and whatnot, and it said works well, needs new ribbon. But usually when it says needs new ribbon, usually that means whoever checked it didn't really know that you could actually move the ribbon to a fresh spot and it will usually work and allow you to type directly. So I brought it home, cleaned it up and whatnot, and then you know what? I round that ribbon just a bit, moved it forward, cleaned off the dirty spots of the ribbon, and just with a paper towel, not wet, and just wound it a bit, and proceeded to do a test type. So basically, it's just Thomas L. Dickens, how you doing tonight? And lo and behold, it worked. Yes, oddly enough, the damn thing works. So so regardless, so it works great, and at least that will hold me over for a little while until the new ribbon comes in. I did order a new ribbon for for it and whatnot, as the headphone cord there gets caught on it. But my plan for this is to directly use it for a means of typing, short stories, notes, thoughts, all this kind of good stuff. And what I've done, a good portion of my goal this weekend was to get my desk here fully populated, get the drawers loaded and whatnot with things that I need. And the bottom drawers allow me to put files in them. So they are now populated with hanging folders, and they've been labeled actually. So so one drawer has a mix of different colors and color folders. I think it's blue, uh, different colored blues and whatnot. Whereas the drawer on, yeah, so this drawer has the blue folders and whatnot. This drawer on this side has green folders, which also hold the typewriter manuals for both the Sharp PA 3000 and the Brother GX 6750 operator manual for those typewriters and what not. So, man, that is a friggin' mouthful. Holy crap. So, doing a rehearsal yesterday, for this, for Inside the Writer's Office. We did two run-throughs, and the funny thing about it is when we realized just how good the audio is, and even now, just hearing the audio through my headphones is really neat and stuff. You may notice we have a different cord on the microphone compared to what we were using before, and whatnot. So you may see that cord again if we do say an Inside the Writer's Office podcast, say like from my living room, dining room. That would be filmed on the laptop where we could just plug it in to where we could plug the microphone in to a 3.5 millimeter jack and record directly onto that. So, so it gives us the options there as well. So, a, a lot of the things that I'm talking about today, typewriters play a key thing in my everyday writing process, where you might think, okay, well, he writes directly onto a typewriter, but what other means and techniques does he use? Well, the other thing that I do use um, to to aid me in writing my stories, notes, whatever, is a pen. This is a fountain pen. This is a Pilot Vanishing Point. This thing, I've gone through at least 4 or 5 different cartridges with that pen, but that's one other technique that I use quite a bit as well. So it's pretty neat. But but this year the typewriters haven't really come into play. And a lot of that is because we've been doing it directly on the laptop. And when I say a laptop, I'm talking about an older laptop that once ran if you remember that far back enough, it was running Windows 98. And this year I decided, well, don't get me wrong here. I love my mom dearly, but the fact is, it was time that her computer ran more current Windows, and so I bumped it up, upgraded it to Windows 11. So, and it's running fine, it's running smoothly. We have our editing software on there, and whatnot. And so we are ready to go by all means there as well. So one of the newer things that we've been working on, or that I've been working on, is a new story. And it over the time you've seen on Patreon, where we've updated you on pens that I've been using, and whatnot, and what notebooks I like to use. And and the interesting thing is that when we started the Kelly Belly Fountain Pen Corner channel, we didn't realize at the time that that was even going to take off. It did. We've had 2 different names for that channel, and we put one video up on a fountain pen, and it just took off. Then we did a second one, kind of a follow-up video to the first. That video took off. And from there, it's slowly growing. So this year I thought, well, why not start a second channel? We'll call it Inside the Writer's Office. And so I think we found a format that we're going to use, and it's just going to be more of this, basically podcast style, where we just talk about different things and whatnot. And for this episode, it's just going to be a multitude of different subjects and whatnot. So yeah. So getting back to it, um, since October, I got back into the groove of writing short stories again, and just really diving deep on various different subjects and stuff. And I gotta say, um, I've never really used swearing in my stories, or any kind of foul language. Here and there the characters would say like hell, or what the hell, this, that, the other. But since October, swearing has played an implicit role in a lot of the dialogue, in the majority of the stories that are being written. That goes for uh, Codebreak, um, The Invasion, and whatnot. And even even the Bandshell murders also have a great deal of swearing in them, but all the stories also take on a more um adult tone, if you will. And this one is no exception. Now, mind you, I did not have the Sharp PA 3000 um to do this. This is still being done on the computer. This was done directly on the computer, um, and whatnot. This was not handwritten either, but we did notes and whatnot. The file actually is just right over here. Uh, oh well, I can't get it. But the file is just right there, and and stuff like that. But like most of the stories, usually we'll type them directly onto a typewriter, and then we will scan it in into the computer into an OCR software, and it will directly import into the word processor, and then from there the work begins. Shaping the lines, getting the lines to the way we want them, spell check, grammar check, this, that, the other, editing, and just going through the story with a with a fine tooth brush, and just really kneading that story and molding the story, and getting the story to the way it is. So this one, so this is the latest one that we're working on. This is basically 7 pages. Well, not seven. This is 6 pages, but we are currently working on this one, and the title, I think, is very Thomas Dickens. Anyway, this one is called On the Run, and and like I said, I'm just on the 7th page now, but yeah, and this story has had its ups, downs, it's had its trial and errors, and I suspect we're gonna have more as I go through and attempt to uh to fine tune this story, and and whatnot. And the thing is, and the reason why I'm kind of all over the place here is the fact that most podcasts have scripts. I'm not doing a script. This is just off the top of my head. And pretty much it's just whatever comes out. So, but the point here is that after On the Run, and after I fool around with the 3000 portable typewriter, which is ready to go, um, I think a lot of the stories are going to be typed on that, but we're still going to use the Brother GX 6750 to also write a lot of the stories as well. So, but yeah, it's been fun typing and writing again. I love the fact that we are back in the swing of things, and whatnot. And it's in the thing I like about a typewriter, and I said this earlier in the show, is that we are we are really, really keen on trying not to, you know, to facilitate constantly stopping in the middle to go back, fix a word, and then continue, go through, edit, work the lines, blah, 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 or stop midway through to do research to try and get whatever it is that we're missing. Um, with the typewriter, my goal has always been to at least just do a straight through write, and no matter what comes out, whether I type the same letter twice, okay, fine, we can easily do that in post, right, where we scan it in, I can correct it, as well as anything else that I need to correct, I can correct it then, right? So the typewriter is basically my way of just putting my butt in a chair and typing. No blue screen, no blue light, whatever. It's just me, the typewriter. There's no way I can get onto the internet. There's no way I can get an email, text message, phone call directly onto a typewriter. It just facilitates that focus zone where it's just like when I sit down at it, I know I'm there to just strictly write, not think about spelling, not think about grammar, and not think about having to do research, where it's just like at one click of a mouse, I can easily go on to Google, search what I'm looking for, and get it. But with the typewriter, right? If I'm going to do research to write a story like this, like on the run, I'm going to obviously do that before I sit down in front of the typewriter. I'm not going to do it after, because once I start typing that first line and writing that first paragraph, that's going to facilitate the next paragraph, the next paragraph, the next paragraph, the next paragraph, the next page, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And that's kind of that's kind of why I like using a typewriter. And and there are so many valuable uses for a typewriter. I mean, if you really want to trip up a politician or something, if someone says send me an email, pull out a typewriter and type them a friggin' letter on a typewriter and then mail it to them in snail mail and say, oh, yeah, I sent you that email that you're looking for that you were asking me to send you. Yeah, well, I've sent that. You should get it in like 5 to 10 business days. So just something funny to do. But yeah, if you really want to trip somebody up, do that and just see what they say. You never know. So there is that. But but you know, using a computer all these years and whatnot, even before I got my first fountain pen, you know, it was just strictly the computer. I would look for typewriter style fonts, and when I would find a typewriter font that I liked, I would download it and use it, right? Like I wouldn't use Arial Black or Courier New, Times New Roman, or anything like that. I would just, continue to use the typewriter font. And I've had people even ask, like, are you using a typewriter? And I'll be like, no, I'm just using my computer. That's what I type on, right? But little do they know that it's a computer where they think. Oh my God, he's using a typewriter. So it's funny. But this, but but yeah, it's really really funny when people look at the font style and they realize, hmm, this is typewriter font. This isn't computer font. So anyway, the font on the channel's laptop is Victorian type. It's Victoria Sans type, I believe. I'll have to take a look, but yeah, it's really really neat and interesting type, and even the Sharp 3000 really really does have an interesting type to it and stuff. I'm gonna see if there's other kinds um that I can use and whatnot like that. So yeah, so it's very 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 interesting and whatnot. But I look forward to it and and yeah. So you know, work is just going along smoothly. On the run is working out well. The new toy is ready to go. We when I got the typewriter, when I brought the typewriter home, obviously I did a full clean, washed it, wiped it down, wiped the keys and whatnot. And then you know, I have a thing for I do not like two-prong plugs. I can't stand them, especially on a typewriter, an electronic typewriter. I can't stand it. And for whatever reason, instantly I have to chop that two-prong plug off and put a three-prong plug on. And yeah, I don't know why. It just has to have those three things. It has to have three prongs and whatnot. You know, I may and today I usually I can tinker with getting the wire in that between between it and screwing it down, making sure it's good and tight. This time kind of messed up. So I thought I had it screwed down tight enough, but I didn't. And so I had closed it up and and so it came loose and I'm like, okay, why isn't this working? What did I do wrong here? So so you know, unscrewed the thing, opened it up. Sure enough, it had come loose. And so I thought, okay. So I redid it again, wrapped it right around the screw, screwed it in nice and tight, and then closed it up, tightened it, and sure enough, it fired up the second time around. So all is well there. But yeah, I think this is a good episode. And the reason why I say I think it's a good episode is it kind of covers a lot of 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 what's what my writing process entails, and the fact that that everything that my writing process entails, whether it's using a pen, a pencil. This is a mechanical pencil, but or or even a typewriter. It it's it's just kind of like one of those things where it's just like I feel like a jack of all trades, and at the end of it, at the end of it, when I finish a story, and even when I finish On the Run, there's going to be this you know this calm before the next story hits, and before I have to put it into a notebook. And whether it gets done by hand, typewriter, or directly onto a computer, time will tell. Thank you so much for tuning in. I got to get back to it, but thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you soon.